This is Eric Muathe with Muathe.com. All is well. Alright, let's take a look here with the market looking to gap down. And this is pretty much going to be a follow-up to a video I did yesterday as concerns RSI 50 cross. And it just makes sense to kind of follow up on that video. We can see the Nasdaq, which was closest to dropping below 50 as of the day yesterday, is called to open down about 3%, which is a huge drop. Now, yesterday, let's take a look at the chart. But before we do, again, this is going to make sense if you watch this video here, which I'm going to label part 1 of 2. This is going to be part 2 of 2. So watch this video if you can first. It can help you understand what I'm talking about in this current video. This video is going to be linked in the description of this video. So I would recommend you pause this if you haven't watched this. Watch this first and then come to this video, which, by the way, today being a Thursday in the pre-market with about 15 minutes to go before the US markets open. This is the close of the RSI as of Tuesday. So Tuesday's RSI close, and let me show you yesterday's Nasdaq action. And we can see yesterday, after some volatility, the Nasdaq did close down the most, down about 1.25% as it dropped below RSI 50. And that is what I was pretty much trying to explain in the pre-market video, which was for most purposes intended as an educational video. So as the market cracked below 50, you can see the Nasdaq had the biggest drop. S&P 500, by the way, the Nasdaq did end the session with its daily RSI closing yesterday, which was Wednesday, at 47.31. I'll come back to this in a second. S&P 500 was next in terms of percentage loss, down about 0.46%, as it also dropped slightly below RSI 50 right here, and that close was at 49.58, which actually set the stage for a potential move back above RSI 50 for a decent up day. So that possibility was there as of yesterday's close. And if we take a look at the Dow, which was down the least, why? Because it really did not drop below RSI 50. Yesterday it closed with its RSI at 52.78. So on this day, the Dow becomes the main instrument to watch. Why? Because as we are seeing in the with yesterday's RSI 50 close, the Dow is going to be the guidance. Because if the RSI continues to hold below 50 for the rest of the day after the morning open, then what this indicates is that for the most part, the market is going to have a substantially big down day in terms of percentage drop, and markets are going to close towards the lows of the session. That's another attribute of the RSI 50 crossing above or below. Now, one thing I wanted to point out is if you take a look at the value of where the RSI, if you take a look at the RSI for the Dow, S&P, and the Nasdaq, even yesterday, we can see the instrument that had the lowest RSI was the Nasdaq, and then the S&P 500 had the next lowest value of its RSI, and the Dow was next. And we can see in terms of yesterday's drop, the Nasdaq was also number one in its big point drop. S&P 500 was next in its point drop, and the Dow was third of. Now, what's interesting is if you take a look at the pre-market, the same thing is being reflected. We can see that the biggest moving instrument in the pre-market is the Nasdaq. Why? Because as of right now, its daily RSI is the lowest. The S&P 500 is next in terms of percentage drop. Why? Because it has the second lowest of the three RSI value, and the Dow is down the least because its daily RSI is higher than the other two. So which in a sense also helps us understand why some instruments move in bigger percentage moves. Most of it is based on where the RSI level is on the monthly, on the weekly, and on the daily and smaller time frames. So this thing can get a little bit confusing, but generally speaking, the higher the RSI value, the more stable, the more bullish a stock is. Let me repeat that again. The higher the RSI value, the more stable and the more bullish an instrument is, period. So for the day, as I just mentioned, from an educational standpoint, the Dow is the one we need to watch to see whether it holds its RSI below 50. If the RSI remains below 50, then we can for sure see that this is going to be recorded as a down day at the end of today's official close. If the Dow can hold above RSI 50 by the end of the session, then the drop is going to be of a smaller size. The point here I was trying to make is, by understanding the crossing of the RSI 50 above or below, you can actually set your thinking in one direction or the other. Knowing that as of yesterday, we were looking at a potential RSI 50 drop on the NASDAQ, and that was, in other words, hinting at traders that maybe it made sense to start suspecting that the next big move in the market would be down. Now again, I need to point out that this happens whether you're moving above or below. You can see the last RSI 50 crossing on the Dow was here towards the beginning of April, and you can see a big up day, and actually this was also a gap up day. I'm not sure you can see it, but it's right here. There was a gap up on that day and also a big point gain, and we can see the reverse of it was another RSI 50 crossing, and this you can see corresponds with this big couple down days here and a huge gap down. There's a gap, huge gap right there. And we can see also another RSI 50 crossing, which is here. And it too, if you can squint, there is a gap up and a decent up day for the NASDAQ. We recently had a big point loss on the NASDAQ, and you can see it corresponds with this big two down days here. And of course, the bigger the time frame, the bigger the moves. So if this was happening on a monthly time frame, it would mean a big monthly down move, and it would also mean closing towards the lows of the month. If it's a RSI 50 crossing on the weekly, it means a big down week and closing towards the highs or the lows of the week for the most part. Again, this tends to be more than guidance. We shouldn't really put this as a fact, but it helps us kind of understand the dynamics that are taking place in any market. And there is the market open. We'll take a look at the opening RSI numbers and see how things will close from an educational standpoint. Again, like yesterday, waiting for the NASDAQ to print. There you go, down about 2.3% on the NASDAQ. And again, it's important to recognize that the values of the drop for the day right now at the very open are pretty much a reflection of where the RSIs are trading. The higher the RSI on the daily, the lower the drop. The lower the RSI setting, the higher the drop. I hope that makes sense. So again, NASDAQ is down the most because its RSI is the lowest on the daily, then the S&P 500, then the Dow. So for now, the Dow opening with its RSI at 42 means a very low chance of recovery back above 50 for this day, but it can happen. S&P 500 right now opening with its RSI at 44.30. Alright, so I had to re-record the last portion of the video. So we're looking at the market now with about 37 minutes after the open, and let's take a look at how things are looking in terms of the RSI on the daily. Keep in mind, this video is more of an educational video based on the daily chart and where the RSI 50 level is trading in relationship to the market. Alright, so we take a look at the Dow, and we can see that the Dow, if I update this, is now showing the RSI back above 50. Now this becomes a very tricky day, because if the Dow continues to hold above RSI 50, then this down day is gonna be of a small size. If the Dow goes on to drop back below 50, expect the market to recapture the big down day and to have a lower closing relative to where it is trading right now. If you're looking for more information about this concept, take a look at my playlist on the RSI 50 crossing on YouTube. I have a sample of educational videos about this topic. So we'll see where markets close. The Dow holding above 50 is good for bulls. The Dow cracking below 50 on the daily RSI is going to be for a big down day. We'll see how things go. It's a good educational video. Go back and check and see what happens after the recording of this video so you can understand for yourself the power and the value of understanding the RSI 50 concept. And then while I'm still on this topic, there's also a sister topic, which is the RSI 50 uniform activity support and what it means. All these are going to be as part of my playlists on YouTube. Premium subscribers to my paid website get the full list of detailed educational material and exclusive content and concept. Eric Muathe with Muathe.com. Love and light, light and love. Namaste.